Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A Video, the official Q&A video series for NoDQ.com. Right here on NoDQ.com, of course, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A Videos affiliate, RingsideNews.com. Got your questions here from Twitter.com/AaronRift. That is where you can submit questions for future videos. With that being said, let's get down to the questions here. Got them on the iPhone. They'll appear on the screen. First one today comes from Greg Rossbach. While you have advocated for a Dean Ambrose heel turn, wouldn't it make more sense to turn Reigns heel instead? I do feel that Dean Ambrose is long overdue for a heel turn. I just feel that his character has really gone nowhere over the past year since he lost that feud to Bray Wyatt. But on the other hand, the same argument can be made for Roman Reigns. Both of them have really been stuck in the same position that they've been in for the past several months, and really both of them could benefit from a heel turn at this point. I think in the case of Roman Reigns, there's always the possibility that WWE will want to give him that monster push again and try it all over again and see if it works a second time. So I think it's more likely that Ambrose will go heel. With Roman Reigns, they're really still having the mindset of wanting him to be the next John Cena. They keep showing the clips of him doing the anti-bullying stuff and all the things for the kids. I think that WWE is going to keep Roman Reigns as a babyface. I think that they feel that they've invested so much in him that it's not worth turning him heel at this point. With Ambrose, they really haven't invested in Ambrose with the whole anti-bullying, be a star, all that stuff, and the charities. They haven't really done that with Ambrose like they have with Reigns. So I think it's more likely that Ambrose goes heel. It's just a matter of the writing, too. It's a matter of giving these guys good material and giving fans a reason to care about them and having something significant for them to do, which WWE really hasn't done. They've been doing this feud with the Wyatt family, and besides bringing in Braun Strowman, this feud hasn't really gone anywhere. Alright, this one comes from Daniel Westerman. I don't normally agree with Vince Russo, but agree with his blog on Bray Wyatt. What can WWE do to make Wyatt a main event player? I'm not sure if there is anything WWE can do at this point with Bray Wyatt. I really feel that they dropped the ball on him a long time ago, ever since the WrestleMania match with John Cena. I think that that was really the turning point for me when I knew that WWE really had no idea what to do with this guy. And the promos, they could be great. The Bray Wyatt character could really be something special, like a modern day Undertaker. You know, people have compared Bray Wyatt to the Undertaker in some aspects, but the writing has been so poor with the character, and his character has really never gained any kind of significant momentum. He just has the same pattern where he does these mysterious promos that make no sense, and then he attacks somebody, they have a feud, and they just trade wins and losses, and then Bray moves on to the next guy. There's just nothing all that compelling about the character. He does have a cool entrance, but that's about it. And I feel that Bray Wyatt could have been a monster heel in WWE if he had actually beaten John Cena in a decisive manner, which didn't happen. And he's gone back and forth with guys like Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. And they brought in Braun Strowman. They reunited the Wyatt family, which was really the right move for all the people involved. But it still doesn't feel like it has any kind of significant momentum. They're just a heel tag team on the roster, a heel faction, and that's really all they are. When Bray Wyatt could be so much more. He could be the new Phenom, the new Enigma in the WWE if he had the proper material and WWE knew how to make the character larger than life and make him an all-time classic character, which they haven't done. Alright, this one comes from Marcus Schmidt. Do you think Braun Strowman would have been better off with a mask? The baby face is the only thing that bothers me. Well, I think I discussed this in a previous video. He just doesn't look all that intimidating. That's my personal feelings on Braun Strowman. But I think that if he's pushed strong enough, people might overlook that, and he could be taken seriously as a monster heel. I just don't have the confidence in WWE and their writing team, their creative team. I don't have the confidence that they will know truly what to do with him. It should be fairly straightforward. Just push the guy as a monster and have him just decimate people, and that way you get people fearing the guy. It's really not that hard to book a big man, but WWE, more times than not, seems to fail with pushing the monsters. Even with Big Show, which should have been the easiest thing in the world, they kept screwing up with him pretty much right from the get-go when he came in, and then literally 1 month after his debut, he lost to Steve Austin, not on a pay-per-view, but on Monday Night Raw, and they turned him into a comedy figure. He went back and forth. Really, Undertaker and Kane are the best examples, especially Kane with what they did when Kane first came in. He went on a complete rampage and just destroyed people week after week, and that's what got him credibility. And with Undertaker, when he came in, people were scared of the guy. You had kids in the crowd that were in tears. They were so scared of The Undertaker. And I just don't get that feeling with Braun Strowman. Now, granted, I am 32 years old, not 10 years old watching WWE. But I cannot imagine too many young kids out there looking at Braun Strowman and being scared of the guy. So yeah, maybe a mask would do him some good. Who knows? And you know, they do have that mask that he's wearing, but maybe they could have done a little bit more. Anyways, moving on here. This one from Jared J. Smith. What's up, Aaron? What was the best incarnation of the Four Horsemen? Well, a lot of times nothing beats the original. I think that my favorite incarnation would probably be the one with Flair, Anderson, Barry Windham, and Tully Blanchard. That, in my opinion, was probably when the Horsemen were at their peak. Nothing against Ole Anderson. I just thought that Barry Windham was an all-around better performer, and he was a really good fit for the Horsemen. That's when I feel the Horsemen peaked, around late '87, early '88. And then I did like the Horsemen in '95 when it was brought back with Flair, Anderson, Chris Benoit, and Brian Pillman. And it's just a shame that Pillman didn't stick around in WCW. I thought that he was great in the Horsemen, and that's when his character was really taken off and he was starting to become a big deal. You know, not such a big fan of Mongo taking his place, but when you had those four guys, I mean, four of the best in the world, and you know, Pillman was definitely a great fit for the Horsemen, and definitely talented enough to be part of that elite faction. Alright, this one comes from Paul. Do you think Natalya is underrated, and do you think she should have been part of the Divas Revolution? Absolutely. It's mind-boggling why she hasn't had any role in the Divas Revolution. I guess the idea is WWE's trying to establish the new divas from NXT on the main roster, and Natalya's a veteran. She's been around forever. She's kind of stuck in a bad position right now because it's basically the old guard versus the new guard, but Natalya is somebody that the fans love and they respect her as a wrestler. And, you know, with Nikki Bella and Brie Bella, you know, the fans hate them. So she's kind of stuck in the middle right now, and that's just a bad situation for her. And Natalya herself doesn't even know why she hasn't been part of the Revolution storyline. She's even spoken out about it online, and she doesn't even know what's going on. So it's really it's a shame, because there are ways you could implement her into the storyline, and you can even have her be the mentor for the NXT divas and kind of be their manager or whatever. So I think that WWE wanted to put her in the position of being aligned with Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, and once Kidd got hurt, you know, creative had nothing for her. It just sucks. She should be part of the Revolution and involved with the NXT divas, and they could even do a storyline where both sides are fighting to get her on their side, but WWE hasn't done that. Alright, this one comes from Antonius. Hi Aaron, which talent do you think TNA dropped the ball on the most? Monty Brown, Okada, or Samoa Joe? Well, I think Samoa Joe, just because he could have been the guy in TNA. He could have been their top superstar, and they had him in there with Kurt Angle, and that got a lot of buzz. and Samoa Joe had this reputation, and you know, he was doing very well in TNA, and then they just dropped the ball with him with all these goofy angles, and he lost his credibility. Monty Brown was another guy that could have been a major star. He ended up going to WWE, and things didn't work out there. Monty Brown had that cool move, the pounce, but I think in terms of overall marketability, Samoa Joe, he could have been the man in TNA, and you know, things just didn't work out. Alright, this one comes from Rigger, Limehead7. Hey Aaron, love the show. Do you think certain wrestlers are lucky in different eras like Foley, because they wouldn't have made it nowadays? Yeah, sometimes it's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time. You know, they say about superstar Billy Graham that he was 20 years too soon. I mean, he was a pioneer as a full-fledged sports entertainer. He wasn't just a wrestler. He had the character. You know, he had the over-the-top costumes and the whole look to him. You know, sometimes you're just in the wrong era. With Mick Foley, he was in the right era because, you know, you had the hardcore revolution and guys taking more risks in the ring, and Foley kind of led that revolution. It's hard to say if Foley would be able to succeed in today's WWE, just because guys are not allowed to take as many risks. You know, they've toned down the product, and they don't want guys jumping off the Hell in the Cell. I don't think something like that would be approved in today's world of WWE. So yeah, sometimes it definitely depends on the being in the right era, being in the right place at the right time. Alright, this one comes from Colin James. Please answer in your next video. Why have WWE stopped big mystery storylines, such as the Raw GM and who ran Austin over? Probably because they're so bad at going through with these storylines and having satisfying conclusions to these storylines. You know, one thing about WWE is they're always really good about kicking off a storyline and getting it off to a hot start. We've seen it with the Invasion. It started off red hot, you know, when they had the merger of ECW and WCW. That Raw was epic. But then the follow-up was just very disappointing with the Austin getting run over storyline. Initially, there was a lot of interest, but then it was Rikishi, and it really went nowhere, and it just it quickly fizzled out. And that has happened a lot in WWE, where it starts off really hot, but they cannot finish it and sustain the heat for the angle. So that's probably why they don't really have sufficient writers that can produce a storyline that starts off hot and can stay hot through the duration of the storyline. Alright, this one comes from Rock Fanatic. With the Dudley Boyz back in WWE, has this boosted their chances for next year's Hall of Fame? One would think so. I mean, if not this coming year, definitely 2017. I think that this is pretty much a guarantee that the Dudleys will go into the Hall of Fame in the near future now that they're back with WWE. There are a lot of guys that you know, WWE will not put into the Hall of Fame because they're affiliated with TNA. With the Dudley Boyz, now that they're no longer working for TNA, that will increase their chances. I mean, it's not a matter of if, but when. I mean, the Dudleys are absolutely going to be in the WWE Hall of Fame, and you know, would not surprise me if it happens in the next year or two. You know, definitely will happen, just a matter of when. Alright, this one comes from Moneymaker. Don't you think the lack of a rich storyline makes WWE more dull? Please answer in video. Absolutely, more compelling storylines is really key in the level of success that WWE has. The more compelling your storylines are, the more viewers you have, the more people going to the shows, and the more money you make. So it is very critical to have compelling storylines, and unfortunately they just haven't been very compelling lately. They've been very dull, as you put it. And going back to earlier, it's just the fact that the writers don't really have the skill level to produce these storylines that have you know, satisfying starts and satisfying middles and satisfying conclusions, and keep it consistent and keep it intriguing. You know, the writers just don't have that ability. Otherwise, Raw would be a can't miss show every week, and unfortunately, if you miss Raw these days, you really don't miss much. Alright, that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. If you want to see the cats that sometimes appeared in previous videos, Make sure you go to youtube.com/thecatdiaries, all one word, all lowercase. Check that out. Watch the cats hiss at Justin Bieber and do all sorts of wacky antics. Also, check out Talk Wrestling with Jeff Meacham. Check out all the episodes. Check out his past interviews with superstars like Rob Van Dam, and there's plenty of interviews on there. Also, check out The Scoop. I know some of you don't like The Scoop, but Noah's really busting his butt to try and give it more credibility and have a more serious approach to it. So check it out, and also check him out at noahmania.com for more of his videos. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest in the world of WWE, TNA, and the Indies. And submit your questions, twitter.com/AaronRift. And on that note, I will see you guys next time for more NoDQ&A video.